After leaving us with the final shot of Xavier going to go search for his wife on the surface world for the first time in 3 years, and after exposing the false reality and lies created by Sinatra for the community of the bunker, one would imagine that this premiere episode would pick things up where we ended, but no, this episode had other plans. Now, while I didn't cover season 1 last year, I recently shared some quick videos in the last few days over my thoughts of season 1 of each episode, and you can find those thoughts on my creative playlist of Paradise Breakdowns, but I am here today beyond excited to be along the journey with you all this time around in real time for season 2. In this breakdown, we'll only be focusing on episode 1 because at the time of this recording, I've only seen the first episode and I'll be watching episode 2 and 3 right after. In this breakdown, we'll be diving deep into the introduction of our newest character, Annie Clay, and the emotional backstory that's already setting the stage for what promises to be another compelling season of Paradise. With all that said, let's discuss this episode, full spoilers ahead. We open with a flashback to the famous Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee. It's here amongst the Elvis enthusiasts that we meet Annie Clay. Immediately, you can see that Annie is very meticulous. She's not just passively listening to the tour guide, but she's actually taking notes, soaking in every detail of Elvis's iconic home. Now, it's clear that this isn't her first rodeo. She knows the tour inside out, even detecting when the tour guide switches up his jokes. Her devotion to Elvis and going on this tour shows us as an audience that she is someone who enjoys a routine, but also potentially takes things very seriously. But the heart of Annie's world, at least initially, revolves around her home life. We quickly learn that she's the primary caretaker of her sickly mother by the name of Mary Beth Clay. As we get a quick look around the house, we see the critical care documents revealing Mary Beth's current situation, but we also see that she got her degree as a doctor in medicine at Duke University. It's later said that Mary Beth had the potential of a brilliant career, but it was unfortunately cut short, potentially by the very mental health struggles that will define her later. But yet, a shared spark of joy remains. We see Mary Beth eagerly awaits Annie's Graceland updates, finding particular amusement in the new joke. We see Annie handing over her mother's Pringles to eat with her medicine, and I do wonder if this shared love for Elvis was forced upon Annie at a young age, or if she genuinely fell in love with Elvis as her mother did. If so, this connection seems to come from a place of a happier past for both of them, especially for Mary Beth. Now, the quiet rhythm of their lives is shattered when Annie briefly steps out. Upon her return, she's met with a devastating discovery, and that is her mother being found dead. Now, at her funeral, we get a little bit more insight on her mother. Now, as I said earlier, it's revealed that Mary Beth's promising medical career was cut short by her battle with mental health, causing her to retreat from the world. Now, while the exact cause of her death isn't explicitly stated, the later shot of the scattered pills on Mary Beth's table combined with the mention of her struggles strongly suggests of a tragic suicide. Annie's grief here feels eternal, quiet, and deeply personal as we see she's taken up a habit of picking at her nails as her mother did. To me, this opening scene did a really excellent job of establishing Annie as a person of quiet observation, immersed care, and now profound loss. To me, watching her meticulous nature that we saw at Graceland hints at her having a key eye for detail, which could be an invaluable skill as the season's mysteries unfold. Now, I do want to point out that Elvis' connection to an already established character. We know from season 1 that Xavier's wife, Terry, is a huge Elvis fan and even named their first child after his last name, Presley. I do wonder if this shared passion for Elvis will be an unexpected common ground if and when Annie and Terry eventually cross paths. Fast forward to where we find Annie Clay is now all grown up as she is a third-year medical student, most likely following the footsteps of her late mother. But underneath the white coat, we're about to see that the trauma of her childhood remains. While tending to a patient, Annie notices a simple bruise on the patient's leg, and she's transported back to her childhood caring for her mother. The weight of her past is too much for Annie as we find out that she drops out of medical school, and with nowhere to go, she heads to the one place that she and Elvis always felt safe, and that's Graceland. Annie is now parked outside the gates, feeling lost, and it's here that she's approached by Gail Edwards, a security guard with a very kind heart. After hearing Annie's story, jobless, familyless, and broken, Gail offers her a lifeline, and that's given her a job opportunity as a new tour guide. This obviously being a perfect fit for Annie. Annie knows Graceland better than anyone, and before long, she's thriving at this new job, and she's even using the same corny jokes that she heard as a kid to delight the tourists. We see that Annie and Gail become close friends, and they even spend the nights exploring the restricted areas of the mansion. For the first time in years, it seems like Annie has found her home. But unfortunately, her world is about to change for the worse. While Annie is mid-tour, the world begins to collapse. We see the catastrophic extinction event from season 1, but this time around it's through Annie's eyes. While everyone else panics, we see Annie's medical training and sharp instincts kick in. She immediately directs Gail to grab every valuable supply and as much food as they can find. In a rush to safety, Gail falls down the stairs and badly injures her leg. As we fast forward to day 3 and we see that they're hunkered down, but things are starting to look grim. Despite Annie's medical background, she can see that Gail's leg is becoming infected. Now they eventually make their way outside, and it's here that we get more ties to season 1, where we know that Cal launched the Blue Codes, which were the global EMP that took out the oncoming nukes, but also destroyed all the electronics. Now over the next 41 days, Annie tries to keep Gail's spirits up with stories and laughter, but the infection is winning. To make matters worse, despite it being summer, a never-ending winter has arrived. On day 45, Gail looks at Annie and tells her that she isn't cold anymore. And Annie knows what that means. In her final moments, Gail tells Annie that her mother would have been proud of her. It's a devastating mirror of Annie's past, first her mother, and now the woman who treated her like a daughter. On day 46, Annie is alone once again. In a heartbreaking scene, we watch as she buries Gail in the snow next to Elvis. Annie's a survivor, but we can see that she's breaking down in tears after losing Gail. It is day 689, almost 2 years of endless nights and cold. For Annie Clay, held up in the iconic Graceland, it's a marathon of isolation and fears from the outsiders finding her sanctuary. But on this particular morning, something's about to shift. We see a ray of sunshine finds its way inside, a way to let her know that the weather has finally broken. Annie has a newfound hope, and this is a feeling that she hasn't felt since before Gail's death. As we watch Annie journal, she hears some sounds coming from the outside. She looks outside to find the strangers outside of the gates, and after so long alone and not having had any contact with the outside world, she's immediately feeling the fears of danger. Not knowing if they plan to raid the place or to attack her, we see Annie sprints upstairs and hides. Now the doors get kicked in and she sees a group of armed men, and immediately they can tell that someone's living here, and eventually we see Annie gets caught. The lead stranger, a man named Link, tries to calm her down. We see Link offers Annie a jacket as he tries to make small talk with her, but Annie is weary, giving only simple answers. We see Link tries to lighten the mood by breaking the tension and playing the piano, but Annie's still not sure who these men are and fearful of what they're capable of. We watch as she takes this chance to hit him over the head, and she locks herself in another bedroom. 3 days have passed since they've arrived, and Annie remains in the room. Now the delicious smells of what the men are cooking downstairs becomes a hard pass for Annie as she eventually joins them. You know, I bet Annie and the others would have loved if they had meals from today's support. Let's take a moment to hear from Factor.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you all. I am not a fan of going grocery shopping. It is so time consuming. I have to shop at so many different stores because one store doesn't have the one thing I need. It is just one giant headache for me. So that's where Factor comes in. Whether it's cold days or you have big goals and you have no time to cook, Factor makes healthy eating easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs. So eat well without planning or cooking. Look, for me, it's all about convenience and it's all about having options, and that's why I believe Factor is such a perfect fit for my lifestyle. Quality, functional ingredients including lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils. Meals that fit your goals and schedule, healthier eating, calorie management, more protein. The variety is so great because you have 100 rotating weekly meals to keep things fresh and delicious throughout the winter. Options include high protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean diet, GLP-1 support, and ready to eat salads. Plus, the new Muscle Pro collection supports strength and recovery. And I mean the convenience alone. It's always fresh, never frozen, ready in about 2 minutes, no prep, no stress. Right now for me, I'm trying to get back on my healthy kick, so having the available proteins and having the vegetables and whole foods ingredients is just a perfect fit for me. So head over to factormeals.com/moviefiles50off and use my special code MovieFiles50off to get 50% off and a free breakfast for 1 year. Again, that's factormeals.com/moviefiles50off. And again, use my code MovieFiles50off to get 50% off and free breakfast for an entire year. Eat like a pro this month with Factor. Now, this is for new subscribers only and varies by plan, and one free breakfast item per box for 1 year while subscription is active. Link introduces Annie to the others and assures her that they are not the bad guys. He goes on to explain that after 3 years, the world is slowly kind of going back to normal. Link goes over his experiences over the last 3 years and being saved by a man named Geiger. They made it their mission to shut down all the remaining 94 nuclear power plants across the country to prevent any more disasters. Now, another member by the name of Urkel explains the catastrophe of the volcanic eruptions that cause coastal floods. He also explains his theories about the EMP, which we know from Season 1, Episode 7, which wiped out all the electronics. They estimate that 2/3 of the US population is gone, but the survivors are now grouping and growing food and rebuilding. Link and the others will be Annie's new roommates for the next few days, and as of now, they seem to be pretty normal. We see Geiger and Link discuss their next plans, which is to go to the underground bunker, as they plan to attack, but they also are looking for a woman inside, which we'll discuss a little bit later.
I think we should stage here, set up a perimeter. This place is going to be seriously fortified. Do we have the firepower? Yes. Even if we get in, how are we going to find her?
We can see that Link not only has an injured hand that Annie notices, but he seems to have some bad headaches as well. Annie sees that Link and the others take potassium iodine. Now, this is used to treat overactive thyroid and protect the thyroid gland from the effects of radiation from inhaled or swallowed radioactive iodine, which makes me think that it's possible that Link and others are maybe sick. We see that Annie is warming up to Link and her new roommates. As we know that she was once a med student, she notices Link's fractured hand that's been bothering him. She offers to fix it, which she does, as it's here that we can see a genuine connection beginning between the two. Now, Link and Annie continue to get to know each other that night as he shares with her that he believes she's around 25 years old, as he also talks about some childhood memories that he had with his sister, and he also comes from California. He shows her a picture of his freshman ID and that he went to California Institute of Technology, which is known for science and engineering. Now, knowing this about Link, I wonder if his time at Caltech should be something that we should remember for future episodes. Also, him mentioning that he has a sister, my mind immediately goes to, what if him and Jane are related? Now, Link tells Annie that they're going to be leaving soon and that he's a part of a larger group that's headed west through St. Louis to reset the world. Now, speaking to this larger group, I do wonder if they are as welcoming as Link and the others, and I also wonder if Terry is a part of that group as well. Now, since it's their last night together, we see Link has shaved to try to impress Annie, and we see this rare moment of joy and laughter and a shared stories. Annie's feeling comfortable and confesses she misses giving tours before the world ended. Link takes this opportunity and suggests that she gives them one last tour. As they go on the tour, you can get the sense of the energy shifting in the room. Now, I blame this on me watching way too many dark post-apocalyptic shows and movies because I was just certain that Link and the others were about to show Annie their true colors by attacking her and maybe trying to kill her, but as we will see, thankfully I was wrong. Now, the tour comes to an end and we see Link and Annie are now alone. Annie shares her favorite Elvis song that played at the start of this episode, which is Are You Lonesome Tonight? As Link makes a move on Annie and she gets emotional and she begins to cry as Link comforts her. It's been a while since Annie's been intimate with someone, and it might even be possible that this is her first time being intimate with someone else as they take their time getting to know each other and they make their way to the bed. Now, during this scene, we see all the scars on Link's body, and it makes me think, were these scars due to him just surviving in the outside world over these past 3 years, or is it possible that these are scars from him fighting or maybe killing others? It is now the next morning as we see Link shares their next moves with Annie, and that's a road trip to Colorado.
There's a bunker out there. We're convinced of it. But not just any bunker, full underground city. I mean, this place has supplies that don't exist anywhere else. Airplanes, electrical grids, energy sources that can help jumpstart the world. But it's more than that. There's something there, something that nobody knows about. Something so dangerous.
Now, that last part they kind of laugh off, but Link wants Annie to join them to reset the world. It's time to leave, but after 3 years of solitude in Graceland, this has become Annie's safe haven and she's terrified of leaving. Annie locks herself in the room, and we see Link refuses to go without her. Link tries to get her to leave with him, but Geiger arrives and tells Link that it's time for them to go now. He reminds him of how important this mission is to get to the bunker in order to kill Alex. It's here we see Link experiencing another one of those extreme headaches, and we see his nose bleeding. Again, could this be a side effect of exploring the world for the past 3 years, or is it a side effect of taking those pills, or a combination of both? Now, despite his desperate plea, Link and the others eventually leave. Annie, still locked inside, made her choice to stay behind. As Annie leaves the room, she sees that Link left her some supplies and a map that says that he promises to find her and come back for her. We see some months go by as Annie is now by herself again, but that is about to change. As we can see that after some time has passed, Annie is pregnant with Link's baby. Outside, Annie hears an aircraft and sees that it crash landed a few miles away from her. Now, curious and worried that maybe Link has returned, Annie decides to leave Graceland to help for the first time in over 3 years. As she approaches the crash, she finds a familiar face to us, and it's Xavier, who's passed out after the crash. I gotta say, after watching this first episode, what a ballsy way to open up this new season. I say that because we didn't see a single familiar face for 99% of this episode. This was strictly to give us the backstory of Annie, seeing her loss, her pain, her joy, her finding love and hope. I would assume that it's safe to take it that Annie will be an extremely important character for this new season. Now, just after watching this first episode, here are some questions that I have that may be answered in episode 2 and 3. Now, one of the first questions that come to mind for me is, are Link and his group of friends truly good guys and have pure intentions to reset the world? Again, based on those scars on Link's body, that could be, again, result of just surviving over the past 3 years, or Link, his group, and the larger group are people that maybe attack other groups to take their resources, and maybe they're not as good as they intend to be. Which, speaking of this larger group, I do wonder who leads the group and wonder how the other groups, are they just as friendly as we saw with Link and the others? Now, I do wonder if Terry has any connections to Link. Is she the leader of his group, or is she just a part of their group overall? Now, my next question is, who was her and who is Alex that they were referring to earlier and who they plan on killing? Now, I do wonder if Alex is someone's real name. Again, my mind goes right to Jane. Is Jane's real name Alex, and is she the sister of Link? Is she someone that is the dangerous person that no one knows about that Link was referring to? Or is there something that they know is inside the bunker that could reset the world and Sinatra doesn't want anyone else to know this? Now, speaking to the last parts of this episode, what happened to Xavier? What happened with his plane? Was it just running out of gas, or did someone shoot him down? Also, speaking to the last moments, we know that Annie's pregnant. She's outside for the first time in years, and she has met Xavier, but the question is, what does Annie do now? Will she help Xavier find his wife, or will she head to the bunker to find Link and to let him know that they have a baby that's coming soon, and it could change everything for the both of them? Either way, again, I thought this was a ballsy way to just focus on a whole new set of characters with Annie, Link, the group, and obviously ending with Annie meeting Xavier. So excited to see where things are headed. And again, I am so excited to be a part of this journey with you all for season 2. This will conclude my breakdown of episode 1 of season 2 of Paradise. Now it is your turn to share your thoughts on this premiere episode in the comments below. What did you think about how we met these new characters and this new setup and Annie and Xavier meeting each other at the episode? What thoughts and theories do you all hope to see in episode 2, 3, and beyond for the rest of the season? Let's talk about it all in the comments below, whether that's you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this via podcast. Again, I'll be covering episodes 2 and 3 next, and those breakdowns are available to watch or listen to now. Alrighty, y'all. Thanks again for watching this breakdown. Hope you all enjoyed it. Again, I'm so excited to be covering this new season. Again, you can find my reviews for episode 2 and 3 on the screen now. With all that being said, hope you all are staying safe, and I'll see you all on the next breakdown.